The NBA is announcing their plans to resume play yet again, another plan to resume play, but it consists of some different things that I think we should really dive into on what they're planning on doing, how they're planning on doing it, and what I think could happen with them in the near future. As you know, you should all know, my name is Cameron Simpson. Welcome into a fabulous video today, but before we get into, of course, the meaty part of this video, I want to thank all of you who subscribe to this channel, and everyone says it's been having a great day, and I want to wish you, once in a lifetime, my first ever Halloween on YouTube. I want to wish you guys a fabulous Halloween, and you know, all of that fun stuff. As you can see behind me, we do have some Halloween decorations before the end of at the end of the video. I will let you guys, see the whole fall decor thing, and I was thinking about maybe doing a backdrop or something with it, but I decided we're gonna wait a little while before we get into the Christmassy stuff. I am gonna keep up some decor for Thanksgiving, because everyone skips over Thanksgiving, and it's one of my up there holidays. One of my more top holidays, probably because we have many traditions that go into Thanksgiving, and every holiday deserves to get a lot of buzz this year because of COVID, and not every holiday is going to be able to be celebrated as much as it would be if we were not in COVID. So so Halloween, those of you that are going trick-or-treating, and yeah, it's going to be fun once we get out there and everyone's going trick-or-treating, and yeah, let's get into today's episode. The NBA has been discussing recently, in many reports, a start of the season for December 22nd. So around Christmas time, we did hear that NHL start date will be January 1st. Many big sources are, pointing to January 1st. So the late start date, as many of you guys know, is just because of COVID, and, we ended just a few weeks ago. So these teams need to get back into a training camp and stuff. But what will the next season really look like? Because eventually we do need, it's like a 2-year plan. Eventually all these sports are going to need to get back on track to start normally, unless, like I'm going to talk about in a second with the NBA, that they could continue doing this type of schedule where they start and they go through the summer. I wouldn't be shocked if we see March starts for the NBA and they go through the summer and they have a longer off season. I wouldn't be shocked, guys, if we do see a full thing where the finals are taking place in December, but the NBA regular season goes through the summer, or the playoffs go through the summer. So right now, it was kind of leaked, and sources are indicating now. Yeah, and the question is, will so many things happen? What will it look like? Will COVID testing be a thing again? Will fans be allowed in stands? I expect fans to be allowed. We've seen fans in NFL games. But the big thing with these two leagues is with the NBA right now, is they're going into a situation where we've seen the two sports that have not done a bubble get COVID outbreaks. The MLB get a COVID outbreak, and now we just saw it the other day. We saw the NFL get that COVID outbreak, and it affected them. It really did. And when it affects a team like that, it becomes an issue. A really meaty issue. So, this All-Star game has been held, is condensed this season, so maybe no All-Star game. We saw the NHL take that approach. No Winter Classic, no All-Star game since it started soon. But the New York Times says this is gaining momentum. It's gaining the momentum that they want. It's gaining what these people want to start around Christmas time. I mean, think about it for the I think it stinks for the families of these NBA players because look, they just got off, they had a few weeks, and now all of a sudden they're going to start around Christmas time. There's always Christmas games in the NBA though, so you're never going to get, you always get to watch some NBA on Christmas, so interesting stuff there. But what is the COVID effect on this? You know, we saw no fans in stands. Like, if you're in Boston Celtics, and I'm assuming when you're playing in Boston with the Boston Celtics, you're not going to have fans. When you go to New York, I assume you're not going to have fans. But when you go to Florida, you're going to have fans. It's just all these different states have different protocols right now. So depending on the team is dependent on the fans. And that's my answer to that question. The time of year as well. We're in December. We have not had a game per se in December that is revolving around the NBA. That's a start date. You know, December is, we're almost getting to the meaty point, the halfway point of the season. We're almost getting ready. Teams are really starting to worry about playoff. Media is starting to get ready for the playoff. Now December is going to be the start of a brand new season, a COVID season. I also expect a cut game schedule. Another source has leaked that the NBA will cut their schedule. They will cut it so that it's half of what it normally was. We saw that with Major League Baseball this year. They're in the home stretch right now. And we saw that with Major Leagues. They cut their schedule, and that's just what they had to do. And when they did that, it really was, some people got upset, you know. Some people were upset, and some people were like, what the heck? You know, they can cut their schedules if they want, you know. It makes it more interesting because when you start, you need to be worrying about the playoffs because the schedule gets cut in half. It's not as long. So I also want to talk about what the commissioner said just a few days ago. He spoke on the fact that he liked the win the series in you're in, like that qualifier round, play to get in round, what they did in the bubble. So the remainder of the regular season, you had to play to get in. So a few teams that were below a certain point had to play to get in. He said he liked the idea of keeping that up. Keeping the play in you're in, keeping the do what you play and then you're in, or the you don't play, or you lose and you're out, and it brings a certain amount of excitement. The NBA's commissioner is known to do wild things. He's known to do things that maybe aren't the most popular in the world, and he's known to make risks, and that's why he's a good commissioner for the NBA. We'll see if he'll make this risk, and I think it is a possibility that you see him take this risk, that you see him really motivate himself and motivate his owners and his players associations to do this. And this isn't really honestly up to the owners and the players. He gets a little say because the players are the ones playing, the owners are the ones owning these teams, investing money in these teams, and working with sponsors and stuff to help these teams run. So, important to note that the playoffs come into effect on this issue as well. There's so much to get to when you think about this in the big picture. When you look at it on paper, you have so many different rows because we would have already been in the season, in the groove of the NBA, and we would have already been talking weekly about the NBA and the NHL. We would already be talking about big stories, and that's not really happening anymore because of the fact that it just all got started, and it just is still getting started and still development. So we really don't know at this point what will happen, when it will start, when it won't. But we do know is that sports are ramping up, and they're beginning at different times. It's COVID. It's a 2-year plan, and COVID's still going to be around. I mean, many of the scientists and people studying COVID are predicting a 2022 end. But will COVID ever end? Will that be when we get a vaccine that we can truly trust, a vaccine that will help us out? Or are we going to get a vaccine tomorrow that could be the end of this? We don't know what's going to happen, and it's still many, many unknowns, but 2022 has been that's been the number I keep hearing, end of 2021, beginning of 2022. So we have COVID for a while. Eventually people are just going to stop being so strict on COVID. They're going to start having get-togethers. Sports are going to start packing the houses full with fans, and that's when we become a problem. So expect the NBA this year I expect them to get a COVID outbreak. The way the trend has gone, we've seen Major League Baseball get an outbreak, and we've seen the NFL. But to that degree, the NBA and the NHL, they've both been one of the two safest sports in my mind, with it comes to COVID. They've been so good. So don't think it's going to be as bad as these two. Like, the NFL's still getting COVID cases. They're just not, caring much anymore, I hate to say it. But just watch. Just watch for the cases to rise when these sports return, in those sports. But eventually, come the end of the season, I think you'll see if even more, have fans at some capacity in the stands. And you see some arenas will pack the houses full with fans. It just depends on your area. But I expect half or even more of these facilities to have fans by the end of the season, because eventually people are just going to stop caring as much about the COVID as they did. I'm trying to word this correctly. They will still care. These people will still care, but they won't be as strict as they were in March, or even as strict as they are now, because eventually people are going to get sick of it and are just going to want to go out. And the masks will always be a requirement. If you're going to want to go to a game, you're going to have to wear a mask. That's just what it's going to be. But until that, have a great day, everyone. Happy Halloween. I wish you all the best. Have fun trick-or-treating if you are. Have fun eating candy and doing whatever you're doing. Just stay safe, everybody. And happy Halloween. Enjoy my little Halloween montage. And I will see you guys in November, basically. I will see my next video will be in November. So, see you guys then. Peace out.